G'day folks, Connor here from CW's Tech Reviews, back with another video, and today we're looking at the Galaxy Buds Plus from Samsung. Full review. Now I didn't try and beat everyone to get this review out. Today I'm going through my results, my thoughts, my opinions on what I think about the Galaxy Buds Plus. Now these come in from Samsung in Australia for 300 Aussie dollars, and that is a pretty pricey pair of headphones. So these have got a lot to live up to given that price point, and I'm going to tell you straight up that in some areas they've really hit the mark and in other areas they really fall short. So the first thing I did with these is I picked them up and I thought I've got to go for a run. But I had to make sure they were charged first, so I charged them fully because I wanted to see exactly how much battery life I would get out of these. So I put them on charge, did a bit of research, and you know, these are pretty much plastic case, plastic earbuds, and due to that build material, they're actually quite comfortable to wear. I was actually surprised with how light they are. Now the case has a bit of weight to it, but that holds a fair bit of battery, but the buds themselves, when they're in your ears, are very light. Now, apart from being plastic, these also have 2 speakers, 3 microphones, and they boast 22 hours of battery life. That's just some of the specs, and they have wireless charging built in as well. They come with 3 different wingtip sizes and 3 different bud sizes that go on the inside. For me, I had some mixed results there. So I had the medium ones on to start with, and I went for a 12-kilometer run, and they did not fall out, they did not move, it was a comfortable fit. But with that medium-sized setup on the buds, I did notice a bit of sound leakage coming in, which was sort of not destroying my experience, but there was definitely a lot of sound leakage. So I put the larger size wingtips on and the little buds in as well, and all of a sudden that was a really nice tight seal. I had no sound leak coming in, and my experience was twice as good. Okay, now I'm going to talk about the fit. I've got that nice comfortable fit with no sound leakage, and I go for my 12k run. Did I have any issues? None. Not with the medium-sized tips or the large-sized tips. They stayed in my ears, and I was really impressed with that. I have reviewed some wireless buds recently from other makers, and they do start to fall out pretty quickly once you start running. But these didn't budge. I didn't have to adjust them once. I actually touched them a couple of times to make sure they were still in place, because I was actually quite surprised how they didn't move. However, after about a 2-hour workout, I did start to get a little bit of rubbing in my right ear, and that became a little bit sore. But that's after 2 hours of physical cardio, and that's when it became an issue. So lots of running, and that just rubbed a little bit on the right ear. And that extended workout periods lead me to the next point I want to discuss with you, and that's the battery life. So for me, battery life is good, but it's not what Samsung says. So Samsung says here, 11 hours of playtime in the earbuds themselves and 11 hours of charge in the case, 22 hours in total. That's not true, because when I add up all my runs in one full charge, I come in at about 18 hours of use. And that's not using ambient mode. That's still really awesome. And for most of us, if we use them for an hour a day, that's 18 days before you have to charge the case and the buds themselves again. So that's pretty good. I'm really impressed with that. It's not 22 hours, it's 18 hours max. And if I use ambient mode, I dare say it would have drained a lot quicker. And I'm also really impressed with how they look. They're not unsightly, they're not too big. For me, this blue color is the color to get. I mean, white and black, they've been done. But these blue ones, they look a bit like opal. They have a nice color to them. It's not too harsh. So they're just sort of made for anyone, and they're not too big. Portability, I think, is top notch as well. I mean, they're a nice little small case that you just slip into your pocket or your bag. They're not going to take up any room. So yeah, there's a lot of tech crammed into these little suckers. You've got 2 speakers in each earbud, and you've also got 3 microphones in each earbud, 2 on the outside and 1 on the inside. The 2 on the outside help with that noise cancellation and ambient mode, and the 1 on the inside picks up your voice when you're talking to people or using your assistant. And I found that all those working together gave you a really solid experience. Now I do want to talk about ambient mode. Honestly, I didn't enjoy the ambient mode experience. I would only use it when I'm not listening to music, because it totally wrecks your listening experience. If you're listening to music and you have ambient mode on, you can hear everything. Everything around you is amplified and it's in your ears, it's distorting the music, It's a really unpleasant experience. I just can't see a time where you would use it. Now, some of you are going to say it's because of safety. It's so you don't get run over while you're running. Well, if you run in front of a car, you're pretty stupid, and I don't recommend you run in front of cars. Ambient mode is a horrible, horrible experience. Don't use it. However, I did enable ambient mode for when I was taking phone calls, and that's where it needs to stay. That's where ambient mode belongs. For me, that's where it really shined. And you know, a lot of people, they talk louder when they got headphones in. This is going to help with that. So ambient mode when you're taking calls is really good. And now I want to talk about call clarity. I've made several phone calls while wearing these, although most of the time I don't like to take phone calls, but I did want to test them out. And for me, it was a nice, clear, pleasant experience. I could hear the person on the other end really well, and I didn't have any complaints about the people hearing me. They did say that they could tell that I was not using my phone, that I was using some sort of headset. One person asked if I was in my car while I was using them, and I said, no, is the audio poor? And they said, no, it's really clear, but you can tell that you're talking through your phone. Because we all know what that sounds like. They said that it was really clear, easy to hear me, and no problems with the volume. So that's really good, considering that the microphones are here, picking up your voice and relaying it through your telephone. So I was really impressed with that. The Samsung app as well is really well made and well thought out. And this is where you're getting that $300 value, is when Samsung does something like this, they create a really good application as well. Now I've got some other earpods in the back here that are like $30, $40. You don't get an application with that. You don't get an equalizer. You don't get to be able to turn ambient mode on and off for taking calls. You just get plug and play earpods. You can decide which applications you get your notifications for. So I might get a notification through messages, and I want that to come through in case it's the family while I'm out running, or if it's come through from Facebook Messenger or Instagram, then I don't get that notification. Only the important ones that I choose. You might be different. You might enable every application, and that might work for you. But I like having that functionality and that ability to customize my notifications. Again, that's Samsung. They have so much money invested in their software that it really shines in situations like this and with products like the Galaxy Buds Plus. And when we're talking about software, I have had 2 software updates on these already, and I've had them for a week and a half to 2 weeks. I can't remember exactly, but 2 software updates. They've gone to market, maybe a little bit early, but they're rolling out the updates pretty quickly as well. Now, music. So for the music, it's a nice, pleasant experience. The lows, mids, and highs are all represented really well across different genres of music. And you do have the equalizer that you can adjust to suit the music you're listening to. The sound's not horrible, the sound is really good. And this is always going to be different. There's always your phone that you're using, there's your connection to your phone that you have, then there's your hearing or hearing loss, whatever it is that you're dealing with, and your own personal preferences. I was really impressed that you couldn't go too loud, and you get that normal Samsung warning when you reach, say, I think it's 75% or 80% volume, you get a warning, but you couldn't go too loud. A lot of the cheaper ones, you can blast it way too loud and probably cause some damage to your ears, so I'm happy that that's not the case here. And one area I really would like to see more improvement in is I do get some distortion, and I hope they're still working on this. And I can't work out whether it's the little microphones playing up within the buds themselves or whether it's the connection to the Bluetooth. I think at this stage, I'm pretty sure it's the buds, because it just sounds like ambient mode comes on for a second and then it's gone again. It doesn't sound like a connection dropout. There is some quality issue there with the sound that kicks in maybe twice every half hour, and I can't sort of pinpoint what causes it, because it happens when I'm listening to music and it happens when I'm listening to podcasts. So there is an issue there. I do believe it's something to do with ambient mode kicking in when it shouldn't. Overall, call quality, music quality, the sound, the volume, the build, the design, I'm really impressed with everything, and these are actually taking the spot. I had the JBL Under Armour headphones that I've been using. They come in that $200 price range. They've taken a back seat, and they're not true wireless. They're like connected together but not connected to the phone. They are definitely in the back seat now, and these have taken the front seat. So do I recommend the Galaxy Buds Plus? Yes, I definitely do. They do come at a price, so they might not be for everyone, But if you are invested in Samsung and you have the Galaxy Watch or a Galaxy Note or an S10 or a S9, these are going to sync up really well with them. I always believe in syncing your products and trying to keep them together brand for brand. I think that makes a good user experience, and this is no different. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Check ya!